And we're doing alphabetical order, so don't cry.
Oh, yeah. They're going to love. Our fans are going to be yelling into their fucking car stereos right now. We're starting with the Bruins.
Here we go, Bruins. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right. The Boston Bruins. Last season ended. They lost in the quarterfinals to the Islanders 4-2 because they started Tuukka Rask instead of sitting him when he was hurt. But either way, they brought a whole bunch of new guys in. They really toughened up the team after the Islanders pushed him around quite a bit. They brought in Nick Foligno, Eric Haula, Thomas Noshik. They signed Linus Olmark for the goaltender. Brought in Derek Forbort. They said goodbye to Tuukka Rask and David Krejci. They may be back later. Also, Sean Corrali, Nick Ritchie, and Andre Cachet are gone. Their cup odds are 14-1. Right now, this Boston team, their core is dwindling. I mean, they got Marchand and Bergeron left. They're still a contender. The clock is ticking, but they got to win it one more time in the next, I'd say, 2-3 years here before this era ends.
I got to think that this is probably maybe the toughest preseason outlook for the Bruins in the last, 10 years. And I think mainly it's because you lose Krejci and you didn't really replace him. And I know Charlie Coyle's kind of penciled in right now as a second-line center. If you want to win a Stanley Cup, I think he's your third-line center. And then to have Krejci leave. Now, who knows, by the way, he could easily come back once that season ends. I don't think that's that crazy to imagine. And, yes, he would have to go through waivers, but all he would do is tell every team, if you take me, I'm not coming. So it's pretty evident that
the Jason Spezza treatment?
Yeah, he could end up at the – yeah, put me on. Anyone takes me, I'm retiring. Krejci's just listen, I'm going to the Bruins. If you take me, I'm not coming. But that's besides the point, because the team going in right now, they still have that line. I actually like the nickname the Perfection Line. But after that, it's tough. And I know Foligno has a lot of grit, and I think Boston fans will like him. But you just look at losing your second-line center, and how do you really recover from that? Now, I think Swayman could be phenomenal. That's another question mark, though, because he hasn't really done it. And Tuukka, I don't know if he will be back. I don't know if he plans on playing for the team again. But in terms of goaltending, there's a question mark. And in terms of offense from another line besides the top three, it's another question mark. So I love McAvoy's game. I think Grzelcyk's an awesome player, and I do think that this is a playoff team, no doubt. But I don't know if they have what it takes to compete for a Stanley Cup. And I think just in terms of going into a season, other years in the past friggin' decade have been way, way more exciting for Bruins fans than right now.
Well, I mean, easily the best line in hockey, in my opinion. I mean, you could argue that McDavid and Draisaitl, but they don't really have that third guy. Mind you could probably throw me with them and it would compete with the Bruins' top line. But over the past 5 seasons, I want to say Marchand third in point production, and then Pasternak is at 9th, and he missed some time, and then you add Bergeron with his responsibility in the mix. So they're dialed in for that top line. But I agree with you, R.A., that window is closing and dwindling. That second line center, Charlie Coyle, the offensive production is going to have to jump up. If there's kind of one guy that really needs to elevate his game, it's Jake DeBrusk. I know he had an off year last year, and that third line is kind of where the question mark is at. I think that their fourth line is maybe one of the best in the league. I really like that Nosek pickup. I liked what he did when he was in Vegas. He had some good, good production during their runs. I liked what Curtis Lazar brought last year when he came over. That Trent Frederick adds that toughness. And just going to their back end, I mean, I don't know, is Grzelcyk and McAvoy going to play together this year? Because right now I saw that Forbort was penciled in with McAvoy. But, I mean, going to Grzelcyk and McAvoy, that was top 5 pairings in the league last year. So I would not want to break them up.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. Right? I'd be shocked if they did that.
Correct. And then picking up Forbort, who's a great penalty killer. I mentioned that I played with him before. I think he had a great year in Winnipeg last year. That was a great job of addressing the back end. I like that Mike Riley and what he brought. And then we know how much they missed Carlo come playoff time last year when he went down with injury. As far as in the net, Linus Ullmark seems to be one of the better value pickups in net this entire offseason. He was probably the toughest loss that the Buffalo Sabres face, other than Jack Eichel not coming back. So I'm interested to see what he's able to bring. But, as far as their team outlook, I mean, I just think 100% they're a playoff team. And I don't think they're that much worse, even though they lost Krejci, given the other areas that they addressed in free agency. I thought Sweeney did a great job. So this is still a top team in this division, in my opinion, going into the season.
Guys, I actually think they said the Bruins said that they're going to have Jack Studnicka, the 2017 second round pick, start as a second line center, and Coyle will be back on the third line again.
Okay. Well, I think he's
dialed in there, Mikey. There you go, buddy. Great job.
Yeah, I guess I guess I should burn that website that I was looking at that had him listed as that second line center.
Stay off Reddit, Biz, will you?
Well, let's also think realistically that he's going to have a short window here of getting a look. Studnicka, if it's 2 games, he doesn't do anything. He ain't playing second-line center the third game.
Fair enough.
He scored tonight, though, boys. Scored tonight.
And then you got to think that Halsey's going to elevate Coyle's production if he is on that second line. And then going off to the right side, that Craig Smith, you guys seem to enjoy him and what he brought. He fit right in when he came on over from Nashville.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, very versatile. You can pencil him in anywhere in the top 9, and he'll get the job done for you. He can score, he can pass, he can shoot. Just a terrific, versatile player.
So looking up and down that lineup, the Krejci second line center issue is like that. That's like their one thing where it really hurts them. But they have strength at all 4 lines and some versatility from guys. So I don't think that they look much worse than they did last year.
Yeah, I mean, and I remain steadfast that I'm a Cassidy guy, I always have been, but, I think he went with his loyalty when he should have went with, the fact that Tuukka was at about 80% and Swayman. Those guys played so much different in front of him all year. You saw it, and it's funny. I talked to Jose Theodore when I says, does the team play different in front of a goalie? And he says, oh, my God, yeah, it's like night and day on some teams, and it really happens, and I think the Bruins were a good example of that. It's not that they like a guy different, it's just the goaltender style, but the Bruins rallied around Swayman all year, and I still can't believe they couldn't put him in there because I think he would have been a difference in that Islanders series. But
last thing I'll say here before we leave the Boston Bruins talk is the most absurd power play going into the year with Bergeron, Marchand, Halsey, Pasta, and McAvoy. They can fucking snap it around. I don't know how much ice time that second unit will be seeing. So stay out of the box against the Boston Bruins.
Okay, before we move along to the next team, Biz, do the Bruins make the playoffs?
100%.
What?
Yes.
Grinelli?
Yep.
I concur. Bruins make the playoffs.